Look, I get it. We all want to protect our brand new phone, but picking the right case can be a bit of a mess. There are so many options out there, and half of them look great online, but turn out to be a total disappointment once you get them in your hand. And that's why I made this video. I went through at least 22 different cases for the brand new Galaxy Fold 7, so you don't waste your money on something that you're going to regret. So if you're about to buy a case, don't do it blind. This is everything that you need to see first. And at the end of the video, I'll let you know which one of these cases were my absolute favorite. So let's get into it. If you love the thinness of your brand new Fold 7, but you want to add a little bit of protection to it without having to use big and bulky cases, you are definitely going to love the Minimalist 600D Aramid fiber case by THINBORNE. They've been my go-to minimalist cases for probably the past 3 years now, especially for the Fold phones, and let me tell you why. First off, the cases come in this really nice wooden box. They take a lot of pride in their presentation, and their case is made from 600D Aramid fiber. It's super thin, super light, and they found somehow to fit a MagSafe magnet in this thin case. Absolutely love it. And because it is Aramid fiber, it's also very strong and scratch resistant. Now, not only does it come with a back portion for the phone, but they also include a tempered glass screen protector for the front of your phone, as well as some extra stickers, an installation packet, and they also have the front cover for your phone. Even though it is super thin, I think the Fold phones kind of look a little weird if they only have the back portion of the case on it. That's just me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And let's see how much this case weighs. So with the back and the front, it only weighs 22.4 grams. 22.3. So the first thing we need to do is to thoroughly clean up our screen with the included alcohol wipe, because the case does use stickers and we need to make sure that all of the glass on here is totally clean so the stickers will stay down evenly. Then we'll dry the screen off, and then we'll put on the top portion of the case first. So here's the top portion. Again, it's got these stickers on here, so we'll peel off these little parts here. And we'll put this down over the top of our phone, making sure that the thin portion of the case is going towards the hinge, just like that. And then just run your finger over the edges here to make sure that they stay down evenly. Go all along the edges. And then we'll do the back cover. Again, peel off this little blue sticker first. And we'll place this over the top of our phone. Actually, wipe off the back of the phone as well, just to be sure. And we'll put the back cover on. Put this over your cameras first, and just clip that down into place, and then press on the back of the phone so the stickers stay down. Give our cameras a little wipe. And we're done. So as you can see, the phone is now covered on the front and the back. And we also do have a little bit of a raised edge around our camera lenses for protection there too. You can see that the phone is about the same thickness as it was before we even put the case on it. We've got our cutouts for our buttons here. You can easily press in without any issues. You can see that the hinge is not covered. I'm not super concerned about the hinge. You might be, but this covers the majority of the phone, like I said, except for the side hinge here. We've got our cutouts on the top, cutouts on the bottom for our speakers, mics, and charging port. It feels great in the hand. Again, just as thin as before we put the case on it. Let's kind of see if we can get some of the parts of the case to move a little bit here. Seems to be staying on pretty good. We got a little movement in the bottom right hand corner here. You can kind of see if I push off to the side, just a slight bit of movement. See if we get that in the top too. No, maybe it's just, I just need to press. And so it looks like we just get a like a slight, like a bit of movement at the bottom here. So let me take the front cover off and let me see if there's any stickers I can put here to kind of make this a little bit tighter. So it seems like the problem was that there's no stickers down at the bottom of the case, even off to the side here. Maybe they forgot to put them on because the very top portion actually has a little sticker. So I'm going to put a little sticker on here and we'll see if it makes any difference. So I actually ended up putting 3 extra stickers on here. One in the corner here, one in the corner here, and another down at the bottom here. So now having put those 3 extra stickers on here, let's see how well the front cover stays on now. So again, when you're putting this on, make sure that you're putting this little thin piece here as far over to the case as possible so it looks nice and flush. And you can kind of snap on the bottom here and kind of press that down into place. And then we'll push up on the bottom of the phone so all the stickers stay there. And now you can see how nice and flush this little thin piece is to the back of the case. So when you're installing it, again, make sure you install the back cover first, then you install the front cover, and you can put the thin piece right up next to the back cover and it'll look nice and flush just like this. So if we close up our phone and kind of try to move our front cover again, you can see that the little thin piece is not moving. Again, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it because it's only held in place by a sticker, but for the most part, it seems like it's staying in place. Then we'll try to kind of push over on the case here to see if it moves. And there's no movement there, so it seems like the sticker is definitely doing its job. Let's check on the bottom here. And it seems like the same for there. So if you are having any bit of little movement in the edges of the case, just use the extra included stickers and kind of put them a little bit more around the case so it stays in place. So now the case looks really nice. Easily open up and it's flush right to the back of the case there. It looks really nice. And if you're wondering about the edges of the case, the edges do seem to be on there really well. In the middle here, it does seem to come up just a little bit on the thinner side, but that's just because the case is so thin. But the thicker portion of the case, you can see that it's not just coming right off. You might be able to fix this with a more of a sticker. And on the other side, it seems to be sticking on pretty good even in the middle, the edges too. So maybe it's just a sticker here for me taking the phone case on and off that it's not sticking perfectly on, but it's clipped into place. It's just when I push it with my thumb, it does come off. But for the most part, it does seem to work perfectly fine with the phone itself. As for the back, it does seem to be on there pretty good. It does make it a lot easier to open up the phone and use it because it does give your hands a little bit of grip versus just the super smooth aluminum on the phone. You can see I can open it up a lot better than I could without the case on there. Now, the case does seem to come up right up to the edge of the inner portion of the phone here. See, it keeps the phone super slim. But the case looks really nice, feels great in the hand, looks good on the phone. So now let's install the tempered glass screen protector. But really quick before I do that, you can see if you don't install the tempered glass, we do have a slight raised edge around the front of the phone as well. So let's install our screen protector. And we're going to do that with the front cover installed because there is no installation guide for the screen protector, so you can use the front cover as your guide. So take your screen protector. It doesn't matter which way you put it because it's equal on both sides. There are no cutouts for the camera or anything like that. Just make sure that the sticker is on the underside of the glass. We'll peel that off and then place this down inside of the case. It's a little off, so we'll try to do this one more time. It does seem to be a little bit smaller than the case itself, so it will be a little forgiving when you install it. So it's not going to fit right up to the edge, but I think I did that pretty good. So it's adhering to the phone. And we just had that little bubble here that I could just simply press out with my finger and along the other side here. and I think that fit pretty good. Give it a little wipe down, and there, as you can see, it does have a slight gap all the way around the inside of the case, so you don't have to worry about any lifting or bubbles. I think that looks pretty good. As far as the touch, feels nice and smooth, just like the glass that's on the phone. This is also a full coverage screen protector, so it does cover your front camera. So let's take a look at that, see if there's any issues. I think that looks pretty clear. Don't see any issues with using the full coverage screen protector. I think that looks pretty good. Now, as far as fingerprints goes, it does seem to pick up some slight fingerprints on the front here, but you can very easily just wipe those away. Not a big issue there. And the edges of the glass, if you're wondering, are also rounded off. Let's take a look at the clarity. As you can see, the screen is nice and clear. This is not an anti-glare screen, so it's going to show some glare from lights, or if you're outside, from the sun. And let's see what the screen looks like as if you're looking at it through polarized sunglasses. And you can see that it looks pretty good. There's only a slight rainbow effect. Not too bad. There's some of the best non-rainbow that I've seen so far. So no matter what angle you're probably going to look at, besides an extreme angle, if you're looking at the phone normally, you're really not going to see hardly any of that rainbow at all. And as far as touch goes, don't see any issues with touch either. Touch seems to be working just fine. Not too bad, considering that other case manufacturers don't even include a tempered glass screen protector with their case. And like I mentioned before, this does also have MagSafe built in, so if you have a MagSafe wireless charger like I have here, you can easily clip it onto the back of your phone. It'll start to charge immediately, and it's also got a pretty good strong hold on the back as well. Very nice. So if you got some MagSafe accessories, you should be able to use them with this case. Now, they do state that some car chargers and standing chargers like this may not work with their case, and I'm going to try that out right now. I've got this standing charger by SPIGEN here. We'll put our phone on the charger, and you can see that it starts to charge immediately. So this SPIGEN charger seems to be working perfectly fine with this case. So if you have a charger similar to this, it should probably work, but you're going to have to try it out because you might have a charger that is not compatible with this case. Now, since this is just a case video, if you guys want to see the results of the drop and scratch test for the screen protector, make sure you check out my dedicated review on this case. So if you guys want a great thin minimalist Aramid fiber case, I would definitely recommend checking out THINBORNE. Next up, we have the SPIGEN Tough Armor Pro. Here is the case. It's got a nice firm hard backing surrounded by a softer rubbery type material, and it's got a ton of stickers all over it. It's got the sticker here, it's got stickers on the top, it's got stickers on the side here, stickers on the bottom here, stickers on the side. There are stickers all over this case. So let's remove all the stickers. Alright, all the stickers have been removed, so let's put the phone inside the case. And the case is connected by the back piece here, so we shouldn't have to worry about the front cover moving around too much. Just kind of press all over the phone to make sure all the stickers are being held in place. And there we go. So first impressions, case feels pretty good in the hand. It just got like a soft rubbery type feel. It's not grippy. It does have some cutouts on the bottom here for your power and volume button, which are pretty easy to reach and click. You can see that it does have a hinge protector on the side here. We've got our cutouts for the speakers and the mic on the top, charging port, speakers and mic on the bottom. Again, we have the cutouts for the power and volume. And the one thing I do kind of like is it does have a little bit of a chamfer here, so you can kind of get your thumb in there to open up the case, which is nice. On the back, it's got kind of like a smooth matte plastic. We also do have a plastic edge around our camera lenses that does come up a little bit past the lenses to give some protection there as well. Now let's see how well the stickers are sticking on the phone. If we press this over here, it does move a little bit. This is the weak point on pretty much every fold case because the plastic is so thin. You can see that it kind of like pushed out a little bit. It kind of bows out. So that could be a little bit of an issue later on down the road after the sticker kind of stops sticking. But as far as this side here, that's not moving. That side's not moving either. And it seems pretty solid on the phone. So the stickers are probably doing their job. The spine or the hinge cover here is also made, it's got like a smooth rubbery type feel, but it is made of plastic. So let's open up our phone. So it does open up pretty easy. It makes it easier to open up the phone because we do have this like larger rubber edge. But the problem with that is when you take the Fold 6 and put it up to the case, now the Fold 7 is just as thick as the Fold 6 was without a case on it. So you're losing that thinness when you're making a case a little bit thicker, but you're also adding the protection as well. If we take a look at the inside here, you can see that the case is pretty flush with the inside of the case itself. There's that hinge cover that kind of goes over the hinge, so it's pretty much always covered no matter what. And if we look at the phone from the side here, you can see how much of a raised edge we get on the front of the phone, which is nice. You should still be able to use a tempered glass screen protector on here to protect the front screen as well. So definitely not a bad case. Like I mentioned before, it makes it a lot easier to open and close. It does make a little bit of a creaking noise when you're opening up the case. It's not horrible, but it's just something to note. And then the little piece here, you can see that it does move slightly if you push out on it. You can see there. But unless you're going to push on it, I don't think you're going to have an issue. So definitely doesn't seem like a bad case. This is one of the nicer cases that I've tested out so far. Again, makes it easier to open and close the case, and it does add some protection to the phone. So not bad. Now the question is, how does it react without the use of the stickers? That's the question. But if you're using the stickers with the case, I don't think you're going to have that much of an issue. And then as far as wireless charging goes, it does have MagSafe built in, charges your phone immediately, and it's got a pretty nice strong hold on the case, so I don't think you're going to have to worry about the phone just coming off the MagSafe accessory as well. So that is definitely a huge plus. Definitely one of the better functioning cases that I've tested so far, minus it being a little bit thicker. And then as far as the case kind of coming off the phone, it looks like the stickers are holding on pretty good. I'm pressing on the weak point and it's not coming off. And the edges here, same thing. On the bottom, same thing. They seem to be holding pretty well. And the corners also don't just come off. So another big plus for this case. The one thing that I did discover, though, taking this case off, is that the case can actually come apart. Whether you need it to or not, it can come apart fairly easily. Next up, we have the SPIGEN Airlift Pro. And here's the case. So this is a two-piece design. It is not connected by the hinge, kind of like the Tough Armor Pro was. This is just simply a two-piece case. It is made of a hard plastic. It does seem to be maybe slightly thinner than the Tough Armor Pro, and it also does have a pretty slim hinge cover. Just like the other case, it does have a whole bunch of stickers that you can take off. Let's see what happens if we don't take the stickers off and just put the case right on the phone. So first we'll put the front piece on. Just kind of clips in place. I can already tell you that if you don't use the stickers, it's not going to go well, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. And then we'll put the back cover on. Clips into place. And there it is on the phone. Feels pretty nice in hand. Again, it's not grippy. It's not super slippery. It's got like a soft rubbery type feel to it. And it's got the same cutout on the side for your power and volume buttons. cutouts for your speaker and microphone on the top, charging port, speaker, and microphone on the bottom. And again, we have a slightly slimmer hinge cover that is held in place with some springs. And as far as opening up the phone, it is a little bit slick because these edges, I guess, are a little more rounded off than the other one. So it's a little bit more difficult to open. There we go. And the top part just came off. So you're going to need to use these stickers. So I'm going to just take the stickers off and we'll put it back on the phone and see how it works out. So there was 2 on the main piece, and it looks like there might be 3 or 4 on the top piece here. And then before we put this on, I want to make sure that the screen is also cleaned off, because any oils from your finger will keep it from staying in place. So just kind of give that a little wipe down first, especially for the front cover. So put the front cover back on again, this way. Then we'll press it into place. Make sure that it's staying down. And we'll put the back cover on again. Press this into place. And we'll try this again. So on the back here, it's got a nice matte kind of rubbery type feel, and we also have the same raised edge around our camera lenses as well. That does come up a little bit higher than the camera lenses for some extra protection there too. So let's try to open the phone again. There, it's still a little bit slippery. It's not as easy to open as the Tough Armor Pro was, but it can be done. And you can see that the inside case is pretty flush with the screen. Got the little hinge cover that comes up and over, closes back up. Looks pretty good. Seems to be nice and uniform. And let's see what happens when we push on this little piece here. You can see, like I mentioned, that's the weak point in like every case. So it does move a little bit. It doesn't just come, you know, the whole top cover doesn't just come off the phone, but this little piece does move. And there was no sticker on this piece to begin with. Let's try to open and close the case again. Close it up, open. So the best way to kind of try to open this up is from this little piece here and then, you know, somewhere down here. It's still, you have to really press on it, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to open it up. But even after opening and closing, it does still seem like the case is staying perfectly in place. So you're going to need to use those stickers if you don't want your case to come apart. Looks pretty nice. I wish it had more of a grip to it. It would be easier to open and close the case, but it does seem to be a slightly slimmer case than the Armor Pro. But again, it's a little bit harder to open than the Armor Pro was as well. Not horrible. I personally still like the front cover to be attached to the rear cover, just like the Armor Pro was. But again, this case is slightly slimmer. And then as far as MagSafe goes, it does have MagSafe built in, charges your phone immediately. And as far as the hold, it seemed to have a really good strong hold on the MagSafe accessory as well. SPIGEN's really doing a great job with their MagSafe magnets this year. It's holding on really well. Some of the strongest MagSafe holds that I've tested so far. And then as far as trying to take this off, I'm pushing in the middle and it doesn't seem to be coming off at all. So the stickers are doing a good job there. As far as the corners goes, same thing. It's bending the phone back. Let's try this in the middle here too. Doesn't seem to be coming off. And the edges are doing a pretty good job of holding on as well. So if you're going to use the stickers, this should be a pretty good case. The only reason that I don't really care for it is because it's a little bit too slick. It's not slippery, but it's on the slicker like rubbery side, which I don't like, which also makes it a little bit more difficult to kind of open up. Don't care for that either. And I don't like the fact that they solely rely on stickers because if they heat up or something like that, they could release and the front cover will start to come off. I'm just not a fan of it. It might be for you. It's not a bad case, but this is not a case for me. And then here we have the SPIGEN Slim Armor Pro. So this case is kind of giving me the tough armor vibe. It almost looks exactly the same. It's got a little bit of a texture on the hinge cover here. The front cover is also attached to the back, which I do like. This also has some stickers on the inside that you're probably going to want to use. And besides the hard plastic on the back, it's surrounded by a softer rubbery type material, kind of like the Tough Armor Pro was. So let's take these stickers off first. Then we'll put our phone inside the case here. Kind of clips into place. Push everything together, making sure the stickers are stuck in place as well. And there we go. First impressions, feels pretty good in the hand. The texture on the side does give it a little bit more grip, but it's still got that smooth rubbery type feel. It's got the cutouts for the buttons on the side, which you can easily press. If you look at the top, you can see how thin it is. It does add a little bit of extra bulk to the phone. Our cutouts on the top, cutouts on the bottom here. You can see the little piece that's attaching the top and the bottom cover. Here we have that hinge cover again. It's held in place with a spring, which is nice. Springs right back when you open it up. And on the back, it's got the kind of like a matte rubbery material. It's got MagSafe built in, and we also do have a ring around our camera lenses for some protection there too. Then if we try to open up the phone, it does seem to open up a little bit easier than the Air Fit did because the edges here aren't as rounded. They're kind of squared off, so it makes it a little easier to grip onto. And if we look at the inside, you can see that the edges are flush with the inside of the screen. Opens and closes fairly easily. This also does have that kind of like that little noise when you're opening up the case. But I think it looks pretty good on the phone. You can also see how much of a raised edge we get all the way around the front of the phone as well. So if you were to put a tempered glass screen protector on here, you should still have a decent raised edge. Now, as far as this little thin piece here goes, there's no sticker and it does move if you press on it. But as far as the rest of the phone, it's not going to go anywhere because both of these back and front pieces are attached to each other. So you shouldn't have to worry about them just sliding around. I like all the cases now that attach the front to the back because it just helps keep them in place. And as far as the MagSafe goes, again, it's got a nice strong hold, charges your phone immediately, and you don't have to worry about your phone just falling off the MagSafe accessory. Absolutely love the MagSafe magnets on these phones this year. They hold in place really well. I also do like the inclusion of the texture. Again, that does help a little bit with grip. So I think this is probably one of my favorite SPIGEN cases so far. And as far as the case coming off, pressing in the middle and it's not moving. On the edges here, same thing. It's bending the phone back. Same thing on the bottom, not moving, and on the sides, good to go as well. So definitely a nice case. Again, I like the way that it feels in the hand. It's easier to open, so that's definitely a plus. It's going to keep your phone protected. And because of the connector from the front to the back, again, you don't have to worry about your phone case sliding around as much, if at all, versus some of the two-piece designs like the Air Fit. One thing I did notice though when taking the case off the phone, you might have to deal with these little sticker or sticky things stuck to your phone, so that could be annoying. The next case we have is actually a combo by BENKS. We've got the Armor Air case, which is a full coverage minimalist Kevlar case, and it also comes with a tempered glass screen protector. So here we have the Glass Warrior screen protector. We've got the fold back portion of the case and the front portion of the case as well. And that's it for the box. So here is the front portion of the case. As you can see, it is almost impossibly thin. With the phones getting thinner and thinner, it's going to be a lot harder for case manufacturers to actually keep making the front cover able to actually stay in the phone without the use of these stickers. But this does use those stickers as well. And again, this is made from Kevlar through and through. There is no plastic or anything on this front portion. On the back part, this is made of Kevlar as well. We do have MagSafe built in, and it is nice and solid. It doesn't flex or bend. It's got a really nice feel to it. It does have a bit of a texture as well. And because it is made of Kevlar, it's strong and scratch resistant. We also have a metal ring to protect our camera lenses, and we've got that hinge on the side. Can't wait to see how well this works on the phone. So first we're going to put on the front cover. I'm going to peel off all these stickers. They're so small, it makes it a lot harder to actually get off. Peel that one off. That one goes down the whole side of the spine, and then we also have one that goes along the edge of the phone as well. And that seems like it's it for the stickers. But before we put on the front, I want to put on the back because it'll help you install this side piece on the edge of the on the phone a lot better. So we'll put this off to the side for just a second. And then we also have a very large strip sticker on the edge of the back case, which we'll take off here. And that's pretty much it for the stickers on the case. It's just this one large one on the back. So we'll put our phone inside the case here, and then kind of press this into place, making sure that sticker stays down where it's supposed to. It does look like the hinge is kind of covered in a leather type material. It looks really nice. And now we'll install the front cover. And like I mentioned, because we have the hinge cover here, it'll be a lot easier to install this to make it look like it, it's perfectly in place. So what you want to do is when you put this on, make sure that this little side piece here is right up against your hinge, just like that. And then just kind of run your finger along the phone to make it stay in place. And then do the same for the other side of the phone. Move just a little bit. It's really hard to get this sticker to stay down on the screen because of the oleophobic coating. So there it is on the phone. Feels really nice in the hand, and as you can see, it keeps your phone super slim as well. So the one thing I'm noticing, if we look at the side here, it does look like the hinge is a little off. You can see that it just does cover the hinge, but there's a little bit of a piece missing, like a little gap. It's flush with the phone. The case is flush with the phone, but the little hinge cover is just slightly misaligned. But other than that, like I said, it feels really good in the hand. You can still very easily access the side buttons. That Kevlar feels really nice, and that leatherette is really nice on the side as well. We can see we have all the cutouts on the top here. They're just slightly, just maybe like a little bit off. If you need to push this in, I mean, it's against the phone as much as it can be. So there, it seems to be a little bit better aligned down the bottom. We got our cutouts there as well. And then on the back, again, it's got that Aurora pattern with that nice Kevlar feel. And we do have the metal ring around our camera lenses. It just ever so slightly comes up above the lens, so there's not a lot of extra protection there. The phone also feels good in the hand. It's not slippery. It's got a slight, maybe a slight bit of grip to it. I don't think you're gonna have to worry about the phone just kind of falling out of your hand. And it does have a pretty good cutout on the side here for accessing your button as well, so you don't have to worry about pressing those. But let's open up the phone and see how that is. It's a little bit slippery. It's a little bit harder to open up the phone. There you go. We've got a little, it's kind of like it bows up a little bit on the top here, so that's not perfectly flush. but it seems like the rest of the case is pretty good, and there's really no raised edge either. And if we look on the back, you can see that the little hinge cover kind of comes up over the phone, as it should. And it looks pretty good aligned there. On the top, same thing. Let's see how easily it comes off the phone. So the little top portion here kind of moves a little bit. You can hear the sticker kind of coming up. And on the other side, the back portion is good, but the top portion kind of comes up a little bit easier. So it always seems like the back portion stays down a lot better because it's got more coverage, right? Like you've got this whole back portion, whereas here there's not a lot of real estate. And that's one of the things that's going to happen when these phones get thinner and thinner. You're really probably not going to even have a front cover because there's not going to be much for the case to hold on to. But you can see that the hinge cover kind of folds back into place when you fold your phone up. So not too bad. Other than those two things, like I said, just kind of like right here, it seems like the hinge needs to be back a little bit more. But it's just kind of slightly misaligned. And then on the top portion here, it seems like the case is kind of bowing up. You can see that there, whereas the rest of the case doesn't do that. So those two slightly minor things, and the fact that it's a little bit slippery to try to open up your phone. It's definitely not the easiest. But the case does look good on the phone. If it wasn't for those few things, this case would be really nice. And like I mentioned before, it does have MagSafe built in. So if you happen to have a MagSafe accessory like I have here, you can put it on the back of your phone. It'll start to charge your phone immediately. And it's also got a decent hold on the back as well. So if you're using this in your car or something like that, you won't have to worry about the phone just kind of falling off. I also want to test out the movement of the front and back case as well to see if those stickers kind of hold the case in place. So I'm going to start off by kind of pushing away from the phone here. And it does have a very slight bit of movement, not a lot at all. So that's pretty good. Let's try in the top corner here. Again, there's only a slight bit of movement. So it seems like the stickers are doing a pretty good job at holding it in place. And I'm putting a moderate amount of pressure when I'm pushing on the case as well. So that's definitely good. And then as far as the side piece here kind of moving, you can see that the sticker is also holding in place. So that's pretty good. Now let's also test out the back. We'll open and close the case a few times. And it seems like the case is staying in place. The camera bump is definitely going to help keep that in place as well. Yeah, the back cover seems to be doing a really good job at holding in place too. And as far as the hinge kind of falling back into place, it doesn't actually have a spring hinge. It just uses this little, like a piece of, it looks like leather. I'm not sure if it is, but it just uses that little flap to kind of make the hinge fall back into place. But it seems to go right back to where it should be when it kind of opens up. And then here we have the all clear case by Samsung. So here we have our clear backing. We get the installation guide and 2 anti-reflective film screen protectors. And let's see how much this case weighs. 16.2 grams. And we also get a squeegee and a wipe for the installation of the film screen protector. So it looks like all we get is the back portion of the phone's case. I'm not a fan of just having the back portion of the case because it just kind of looks off, and I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. So this is just a simple plastic case. It's very flimsy. It's not supposed to be flexible, but because it's so thin, it is. It's just a hard plastic, and it looks like we have what might be a thin metal ring for our cameras. So we can just put this on the back, just very simply, clips in place. There's no stickers to hold it on. And that is pretty much it. So we get the clear backing to show off the color of your phone. Again, we also get that metal ring, and it looks like it comes, it's almost flush with the camera lenses. It just comes up ever so slight over the lenses. So not a lot of protection there. But like I mentioned before, why I don't like just having the back portion of the case is when you look at your phone, doesn't it just look off? It's like one piece is a little thicker than the other. It just doesn't look right. And when you go to open the phone, because it's not even, it's a little bit harder to open up the phone. I just don't like the way that that looks. But if you just like the back portion of the case, let me know in the comments below. As far as fingerprints goes, it does show some fingerprints on the back of this case because it is just a clear hard plastic. It does have the cutouts on the bottom for our mic and our charging port. No coverage for the hinge, no coverage for the front of your phone, but we do have cutouts for the front microphones. But you do get that 2 of those anti-glare film screen protectors to help keep your phone screen scratch free. Not going to do a lot for drops, but at least it'll help keep it scratch free. Like I said, it just, you can see that one end just sticks out above the other. I just don't like the way it looks. I know that because the phone is super thin, the front part is going to be super flimsy, but it just looks off because there's no front cover. I don't know, I'm not really a fan. But as far as it moving, it does seem to just slide ever so slight on the bottom here. Not so much the top. There is a little movement, but not a lot. There's more, it seems, on the bottom of the case. And then if we open up our phone here, you can see that the middle portion does come off a little bit if you kind of push on it ever so slightly. But the edges, they do the same thing. They come off a little bit if you push on it a little harder. And on the bottom here, see the middle's kind of the same. It clips on, but it doesn't take much to kind of push it off. I don't think it'll just come off when you're using the phone. And the edge is kind of like the same as well. I'm not a big fan. I wouldn't recommend this case, but there it is, the Samsung Clear case. And then here we have the Samsung Clear Grip case, and we'll see how much this case weighs. 22.6 grams. So again, this is just a front cover case. It comes with 2 anti-reflective film screen protectors along with the guide and a little installation squeegee and wipe. So here is the back cover. Looks just like the clear case, but they've included this little silicone strap here, which is a pretty nice little touch. Again, it's made from just plastic, which is kind of flimsy because it is so thin. Again, we'll just kind of clip this onto the back of our phone, just like that. So you can see that it's got the same clear case. It does pick up some fingerprints because it's just a hard plastic. And we have what looks like to be a metal ring around our camera lenses. Not a lot of extra protection because it's almost flush with those lenses. But we do get this little silicone strap here that feels pretty nice. So when you're holding your phone, you can kind of stick your fingers through there so you don't have to worry about dropping it, especially if you're in a big crowd and somebody bumps into you. You kind of get an extra grip on your phone. Even when you're kind of holding it open now, you've got something to grip on, which I can appreciate. Feels really nice. It's a nice soft silicone, and it's got these kind of like nylon stretchy straps on here. And in case you have bigger hands, it also has an adjustment to where you can make these elastic straps stick out a little bit more to fit, bigger hands. But again, just like the other clear case, this kind of makes the phone look a little off. It's got that protruding case on one side and nothing on the other. So you've got some protection on the back of your phone and not a lot on the front except for the anti-glare screen protector that comes with the phone. But I do like this little hold here. Now, because this is on here, will it still wirelessly charge your phone? Let's check it out. So I've got this Little wireless charger by SPIGEN. We'll put it on the charger here. And it looks like it still might work. It is charging the phone, fast wireless charging, but look at that gap on the back of the phone. You can't be getting a very good wireless charge while your phone is sticking like that. Let's put it off to the side. And it stops charging. So you're going to have to put it onto the charger like this. And again, it seems to be working, but there might be a little bit more heat than usual because it's not right against the pad. And you're not going to get a great charge that way. So not the best case for wireless charging either. And as far as the case coming off the phone, same thing. It's on there slightly, but with a little push, the case kind of comes off. Let's see about those edges. Kind of the same thing on the bottom. Yeah, about the same thing. You hear it's clipping in, but it does come off fairly easily. The edges are a little bit better. Again, if you like the single case, you might like this one, but this is definitely not for me, and I would not recommend it. And then here we have the Samsung silicone case. And we'll see how much the silicone case weighs. 25.1 grams. So this case again is just simply a rear case. There's no front, and it comes with the 2 anti-reflective film screen protectors. So here is the back cover, just simply a plastic, kind of like the other clear plastic pieces. It's a little bit flimsy because it is so thin, but it does have a really nice soft touch coating on it. And we get this little kickstand on the back, which is pretty nice as well. This one actually does have some stickers on the inside, so we'll peel those off. So there, all the stickers are off, and we'll put this on the back of our phone. And we'll press around the edges here because it did have those stickers. I really do like this back piece. I just kind of wish it came with the front piece as well. Again, it just looks off. I would really rather, have a front piece, as flimsy it might be. It would make this whole thing look symmetrical. I just don't like how that looks. And as far as opening and closing the case, again, because there's a bump right here and not down here, it makes it a little more difficult to open your phone. You're gonna have to actively kind of try to open it in the middle, and then it might be a little easier. But if you try to open it where any of these bumps are on the one side, it's going to be a lot harder to open your phone. As far as the back feels really nice. Again, it's got that nice soft touch silicone feel to it. And we do have that same metal edge around the cameras that are almost flush with those lenses, so not a lot of protection there. Let's test out our kickstand. So you can set your phone up in a landscape, maybe a portrait. Yep, portrait mode works as well. And then if you open up the phone, you can have it in an open portrait or even a landscape as well. And this way you can kind of bend and fold the phone and still have it stand up, which is a nice touch. I like that. And then it just kind of folds back into place. It's not like the best hinge, it's just a flimsy piece of plastic, but it's got like this, like a little flick open and a flick closed. There's no magnet to keep it, closed or anything like that. It just kind of sits in place. Again, because this is a little bit bulkier on the case, let's see if it works with wireless charging. I'm assuming it will, and it does. So there, it's charging your phone, and on the back here you can see it's a little bit, that camera bump, it just keeps the phone from, staying on the charger. But if we put the charger above the camera, will it still charge? No. So it's got to be down. It's not going to be the best for wireless charging. And then on the bottom here, you can see we've got the cutouts for the charging port and our mics on the top there, cutouts for the buttons. As far as the buttons, you can easily press those as well. It's just when you open your phone, you're going to have to open it from one in the middle and one on the case. And then you can open it up. I just don't like it just doesn't look symmetrical to me. I'm big on that. I don't like to have things kind of off looking. And as far as it coming off, the stickers seem to do a better job at some of the regular plastic at coming off. But if you press it just a little bit harder, they do seem to come off. The middle here, the stickers kind of keeping it in place better, so that's good. In the corner, that's pretty good too. So it just seems to be kind of coming off on the top corner here. Again, this case is not for me, but I do like the silicone feel and the kickstand on this case. And then here we have the Samsung Carbon Shield case. This is one of the new cases that I'm pretty excited for. And let's see how much this case weighs. 13.5 grams. So just like the other cases, this is again is just a back plate for your phone that comes with 2 anti-glare film screen protectors. So here is the back cover. It is made of carbon fiber, which makes it a little bit more expensive than some of the other cases. And the fact that it's just the back portion of the case for this kind of price, yes, it does come with a film screen protector, but some of the other cases that I'm reviewing come with the front and the back as well as a tempered glass screen protector. So this might not be the best option. It does look kind of cool. It is very thin, as you can see, kind of bends very easily. But again, it's just the back plate. So we can put this on our phone. There's no stickers that I can see. Just kind of clips into place here. Again, that would be really nice if it had the front piece too. But again, like I mentioned 3 times prior, that just looks off. You've got carbon fiber on the back, but nothing on the front. It kind of looks like 2 phones sitting on top of each other. And if you want to open it up, again, you're going to have to, this does give it a little bit more grip, but it's still a little off. You will have to kind of pull it apart from the middle and then from the bottom, because there's a bump on one side, there's not on the other, and it makes it a little harder to kind of open up your phone. The back is nice and smooth feeling. It does keep down fingerprints. You will see some smudges from time to time, but for the most part, it'll keep the fingerprints down. We do also have that same metal ring around the camera lenses. And again, it's about flush. I just kind of wish they would make it a little bit more protective on the back. We've got the large cutout for our buttons on the side here, cutouts on the bottom, no hinge protection, and the cutouts for our mics on the top. That would look so nice if it was the same on the back as it was the front. Now on the inside, as far as it coming off, again, it does seem to clip into place, but if you put a little pressure, it will come off. I definitely don't think it's just going to come off during use. You will have to put a little pressure on it for it to start to come off. Same with the bottom there. It does clip in place, but if you press on it a little bit, it comes off. And the corner here, it's pretty good. So this year, I don't know, Samsung I think could have not did like some of the other case manufacturers and actually gave you a front cover as well. It would have been really nice. But again, it does look pretty nice just on the back if that's what you like. This would probably be one of my more favorite Samsung cases out of the 4 that I've just reviewed. But because the lens on the back here is so thick, there is room to put some protectors, so you could add those to the back plate as well for some extra protection. And then here we have the RINGKE Fusion Magnetic Clear Case. And let's see how much this case weighs. 36.3 grams. And here is the case. Now the one thing that I do notice that some manufacturers have been doing versus just making a one-piece front and back is they've been actually attaching the front and the back with these little kind of plastic hinges, which is a good idea because that's less likely that the front cover is going to move around because it is held in place. So definitely a thumbs up for that. I'm not a huge fan of these stickers, but it actually does come with a sticker that you can install if you need to. It also does have a clear cover on the inside and the back that you want to remove before you do the installation. The back cover is made of a hard plastic that does have a little bit of a flex to it, and the sides are made of a transparent rubbery type of material. So we're going to put our phone inside the case. I will use that sticker, but first I want to see what the case does without the sticker's use. Then we just kind of fold the front cover over and then press it into place. So first off, it looks really nice. It does feel good in the hand. It does have a little bit of a grip to it, so you don't have to worry about the case just sliding out of your hand. It does have a little button on the side for the volume rockers, but the little cutout for the power button, so you can easily press the power button there, and the volume buttons are easily pressable and they're nice and clicky. So if we take a look at the top here, you can see we've got our cutouts for the speaker and our mic. On the bottom, we have our cutouts for the speaker, mics, and charging port. On the side here, there is no cover for the hinge. It's not a really big deal for me, but it might be for some people out there. The hinge is pretty thin anyway. And on the back of the phone shows off the color of your phone. It's got that MagSafe ring. It does pick up a little bit of fingerprints, as you can see on the back, but for the most part you can just wipe those away. That's what you deal with when you get a clear case. And for the cameras, we do have a pretty good raised edge, the best raised edge I've seen so far for your lens protection as well, so that is good to see. Now as far as the MagSafe ring on the back, if you got a MagSafe charger like I've got here, clips right onto the back, charges your phone immediately, and it seems to have a pretty good hold on the back of the case, so you don't have to worry about the phone just kind of falling off your MagSafe accessory. That's really nice. And then as far as the raised edge around the front, you can see that it's got a pretty decent raised edge on the front of the phone as well. And then as far as opening up the phone, very easy to do because the case itself does have a nice grip to it, which I absolutely love. And it looks like we've got a little lanyard hole on the bottom here too. And you can see that the corners have more of a raised edge than the rest of the case does as well. So it's protected kind of right where it matters. But as far as ease of opening, very easy to open. And I absolutely love that because the phone is already thin and it makes it harder to open up without a case. And you can see that the case itself on the inside is pretty flush with the inner portion of the screen, but the outside's got that nice raised edge. Now as far as the case itself kind of moving, because it is a thin plastic, without the use of the sticker on the side here, you can see that it very easily kind of bends in. So I'm going to use that sticker to see if we can kind of fix that. That's just what you're going to run into when you have these super thin cases. It's just the case on the top is going to be super thin because there's not a lot to hold onto the phone. So that's just how it's going to be. So overall, the case looks pretty nice so far. Now what I want to do is I want to put that sticker on to see how it actually affects this little side piece for moving. But before I do that, let's see if any other part of the case moves, and it doesn't. Like I'm really pushing down on the edges here and the case is not moving. So that is pretty nice. If we open and close it a couple more times, just kind of willy-nilly, you can see that the case stays exactly in the same spot. So that is pretty good. See if I press on it, does it move? No, that's it. It stays in place. So these little rubber pieces on the side that keep the phone together is definitely one of the best options that I've seen. Another thing I want to test out is how easy the case comes off the phone from the inside here. And it doesn't seem to come off easy at all. It kind of clips into place and you kind of really have to put some pressure on it to get it to move, which is good. Same thing with the other side. It's really on there because of the rigid back. It does move just a little bit, but it's not popping off the phone. And as far as these edges, they do come off, but you have to put some force onto it. They're not just gonna come off. And as far as the other side, pretty much the same thing. Got a little bit of movement there, and on the back, about the same thing. And the edges, same. You have to kind of push on it a little bit hard to kind of get those off. But the weak point is always going to be in the middle here. So I'm going to do my best to try to get this sticker on here. I can't really make any promises because it is so thin. So I do have the sticker on the little side here. It was kind of difficult because it is so small. There, as you can see, it is on that inner portion. So we'll put the case back on our phone here. We'll put the back on first. And then we'll kind of try to place this the best we can. I'm just going to press that down. Then we'll close it up. And you can see now that it doesn't move, but you have that sticker underneath. That may or may not bother people. I'm not really sure, but you can see kind of it's got that gray line here now. And it's not on the other side. So that might bother you as well. But that sticker does seem to do a pretty good job at keeping the little thin plastic piece from bending out. Oh, it just moved ever so slightly. So again, if you press on it hard enough, it is going to move, but it definitely helps with keeping the plastic piece from moving around. And if we open it up, that's pretty much what it looks like. For me, I would probably say just not to use the sticker. I don't think it's really that big of a deal. And then here we have the RINGKE Fusion clear case. This one does not have the MagSafe. And let's see how much the clear case weighs. 30.2 grams. So here is the case. This one's just like the one with the MagSafe. It's got a fairly hard back that is a little bit flexible, surrounded by a rubbery edge. And the other nice thing about this case again is it's held in place with these little rubber pieces on the top and the bottom, so it helps keep the front cover from moving around even without the use of stickers. This also does have a plastic cover on the front and back that you want to remove. If you can, the sticker just came off. So I have to kind of try to remove this with my finger. But you want to remove this before you do your installation. Actually, the outer cover you can do after the installation, but I just like to remove it beforehand. And then we also have one in the inside as well. So we'll put our phone inside the case. We'll press on the top. And you're all set. Again, just like the Fusion Magnetic, feels really good in the hand. It does have a good bit of grip to it, so you don't have to worry about dropping the phone or just slipping out of your hand. We also do have a cutout for your power button, but some button covers for the volume buttons that are easily pressable and nice and clicky. You can also very easily access that power button, which I love. And if we try to open it up, again, it's very easy to open because that case does have some grip to it. So it makes it a lot easier to open your phone with the case on it. If we look at the top here, you can see we've got our cutouts for the speaker and mic. Charging port on the bottom. There is no hinge protection. You can also see how it keeps your phone pretty slim. We also do have a good raised edge on the top of the case as well, which is always welcome. And on the back, shows off the color of your phone. It does pick up some fingerprints, but that's what you're going to run into when you get a clear case. And the other thing that I really like is the slight raised edge above the camera lenses for protection there too. So if you put it on its back, nothing should touch these camera lenses. Again, if we open up the phone, very easy to do. And you can see that the case pretty much is flush with the inside screen of the phone. And if we open and close it a couple more times, you'll see that the case doesn't move at all. And this is without the use of stickers, which I like as well. So you can see if we look at the side here, it's pretty even again. So no movement on the case. And if I try to press out on the case itself, you can see that there's no movement either. Now the one piece that will move is this thin little plastic piece on the edge here. That's just how it's going to be on pretty much any case that uses this thin piece of plastic, because the phone is so thin, there's nothing else to hold on to, and plastic this thin usually is pretty flexible. But if you want to keep this from flexing, all you need to do is take the sticker and put it onto this piece here, and it'll help with that. It's not going to not move if you press hard on it, but it definitely helps with the flexion, and I show you that in the magnetic Fusion Clear that I did prior to this. I do think that the RINGKE clear case is a nice option for your Fold 7 because it does add some pretty good protection to the phone without making it super bulky. And the inclusion of these little tabs on the side that connect both the front and the back of the case definitely do a good job at keeping the front case from moving around. And I also love the fact that it's got a nice grip when you're holding it in your hand. Next up, we have the SUPCASE UB Pro. Now let's see how much the case weighs. 82.9. SUPCASE is another brand that I like to go to for my phones when I want some of the best drop protection possible. Even though some of their cases might be a little bit more bulkier than most, they do seem to add some pretty good protection, especially in the corners. This particular case is military grade drop tested. It does have a plastic kickstand on the back. It's got a soft type felt material on the inside, and it does have a spring loaded hinge for the edge, the hinge protection. And another really nice thing about this case is it's got a built-in tempered glass screen protector. It's not film, it's actually tempered glass, so I'm really happy to see that. Now the first thing you want to do before you install this is totally clean off your screen on your Fold 7, because anything that's on the screen will be trapped in there once you put the cover on. Then we're going to peel off the inside stickers here. There does also seem to be some little stickers on the bottom of the case as well, on the top and the bottom, I guess to try to hold it in place. We'll just simply press this over the top of our phone. Just like that. Make sure everything clips into place. And then you're going to want to kind of press on the bottoms here just to make sure those stickers stay in place as well. Then you can remove the top protector. That looks really nice. So then we'll put the rest of the phone inside the case. Just kind of clips in place as well. All right, that looks really nice. Now, like I mentioned before, this is going to add a little bit more extra bulk to your phone, but you're also getting some good protection. You can see how beefed up these corners are for the drop protection there. We've got some, like a carbon fiber looking piece on the outside here. We also have a big cutout for our volume and power buttons. Again, we have that spring-loaded hinge protector on the side, which I like. The case does feel good in the hand. You can very easily access the buttons on the side here. You can see on the top we do have some more of the carbon fiber looking inlay. It's not real carbon fiber. Our cutouts there. We've got that carbon fiber look on the spine as well. Our cutouts on the bottom. And again, more of the carbon fiber looking pieces on the sides here with that larger cutout. Now the glass feels nice and smooth, just like the glass that's on the phone, but we're going to test out and see how well the touch works with that too in just a minute. Now as far as opening up the phone, opening up the phone is so much easier now. Definitely. It's a lot easier to open the phone with this case on versus just the phone itself. Super easy. And you can see those reinforced edges again in all four of the corners, which is good. You can see that the case is pretty much flush with the inside of the screen as well. If we take a look at the back of the case, it is a very hard plastic. Again, we have that plastic kickstand on the back here that simply folds up like that. So you can lay your phone down in a portrait mode or even a landscape. And if you open up your phone as well, you can kind of prop it up like that. Not like that so much, but you can kind of lay it down in a landscape mode like that to watch whatever you want on YouTube. And then once you're done, it just simply folds right back up into the case, nice and flush, which I like. And we also do have a nice raised edge around our camera lenses as well for some good protection there. Very, very nice case. So now let's test out the touch. So that seems to be working. You can see it's nice and clear. No issues there. Touch seems to be working just fine. Let's try down in the corners. That's working fine. Yeah, no issues there. Try from the top. No issues from the top either. Perfect. So you can see we also do have some hole like cutouts for the main speaker on the top there. So it's looking good. Now it does cover our camera, so let's take a look at the front camera here. And the camera does look nice and clear to me. I don't see any issues. So if you're taking photos or videos, you shouldn't have any problems with the screen there either. Now let's take a look at the screen as if we were looking at it through polarized sunglasses, and we'll see what that looks like. And there is a little bit of a rainbow, ever so slight, not bad at all. So if you're going to be using polarized sunglasses with this screen protector, it's going to be a good experience. And then let's open and close the case a couple times to see if it kind of moves around. You can see my phone screen is now totally dead on the inside. And let's take a look. And it doesn't look like the case has moved at all. All right, so let's kind of push out on the front cover to see if it slides. And it doesn't seem to be moving at all. And the back cover is not going to, it's not going to move either. The case also does not move while you're opening and closing as well. You can see it's nice and flush with the phone itself. You can see that the case is not moving. So I definitely would recommend the SUPCASE UB Pro. Again, it's one of my more favorite cases, especially if you want some of the best drop protection possible for your phone. SUPCASE should give that to you. And the inclusion of the tempered glass screen protector just adds the 360 full coverage for your phone. And because there's such a gap on the back for your camera lenses, if you wanted to include camera lens protectors on here, you can do that with this case as well. Now let me tell you why I would recommend this case and why I like it. For one, it feels good in the hand and it's a very solid case. It's got some reinforced edges for drop protection on your phone. I love the inclusion of the kickstand on the back. I also like the fact that it does have a spring-loaded solid hinge protector, and probably the biggest thing, or one of the biggest things, is the tempered glass screen protector. Most of the time, cases will include a film screen protector built in, which I absolutely hate. I don't like the way it feels. I don't like the way that it looks, and it's not the most protective, whereas this has tempered glass, feels just like the glass on the phone, and it works really well. The next case we have is the SUPCASE UB Grip. And let's see how much the grip case weighs. 95.7. So the SUPCASE UB Grip is kind of like the UB Pro, but the grip doesn't have a kickstand on the back, but it does have MagSafe. This case also does have a tempered glass screen protector built in as well, and it has hinge protection, which I really like, and I'm sure a lot of people can appreciate. Now again, before we put the front cover on, you want to thoroughly make sure you clean off your screen, because you don't want any fingerprints or anything on the screen, because they'll be trapped underneath once you put the cover on. Now this case, just like the UB Pro, does have a couple stickers, one along the little plastic edge here, and then one on the bottom and one on the top of the case. So peel off the inside. We'll put this over the top of our phone. Kind of clips in place. Just press on it to make sure that the sticker stays down. And we can peel off the top. Looks pretty nice. And we'll put the rest inside the other part of the case. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I totally didn't see this. This case does have a little metal kickstand on the side of the case that comes out just like that. That is pretty cool. Now this case does seem to be maybe a slightly bit bulkier case than the UB Pro. It does feel good in the hand. It's got kind of like a ridge on the side to help with grip. It does have a large cutout again for the volume and power buttons on the side, which are easily pressable. Nice and clicky. And if we take a look at the top here, you can see that we do have cutouts for the mic and the speaker. Same thing on the bottom. On the side here, we do have that spring-loaded hinge protector. And we have the metal kickstand that's on the side here that kind of just pops out like this. I'll show you that more in just a second. And on the back, we've got our MagSafe ring with a nice frosted back to show off the color of your phone. And we have a pretty good raised edge around our camera lenses as well. Looks pretty nice. So first, let's test out our MagSafe on the back. So I've got our MagSafe charger here, clips onto the back, charges the phone immediately. And it's got a pretty good strong hold on the back of the phone, so you just don't have to worry about it falling off. So that's pretty nice. And then if we try to open up the phone, you can open up the phone really easy. It's got a really nice textured grip on the side to help with the opening. And you can see that the case is pretty much flush with the inside of the screen. So that is pretty nice. And then as far as that kickstand goes, this is an all metal kickstand as well. It kind of unfolds like this, and then you can open up your phone, kind of have it stand in front of you, or you can lay it down in a landscape mode as well. And then it just kind of folds right back into place. That is a pretty nice case. You can also see that it's kind of clear on the front as well. And we have that nice tempered glass screen protector. Test that out. It is perfectly clear. Touch is working perfectly fine as well. No issues there. Let's test out on the bottom. That's working fine from the top. You can easily pull down your menu, so it doesn't seem like there's any issues there. Also, it covers the front camera, so let's test out that. Camera looks nice and clear. Don't see any issues with that either. We also do have some little cutouts for the speaker grill, so you can easily hear when you're talking. And then let's test out what the screen looks like as if you're looking at through polarized sunglasses. So you can see that there is a little bit of a rainbow effect, and not bad at all. I've seen a lot worse than this. Just a very slight rainbow. So if you're going to be using polarized sunglasses looking at your phone, you should have a pretty good experience. And after opening and closing the phone a couple times, you can also see that the case does not move. It is in the same spot as it was when I first put it on. You can see that it's very even. And as far as this little edge right here, again, this has been a weak point on a lot of cases, but it's not that way on the UB Grip, and I'll tell you why. There's a couple different reasons. For one, it uses a sticker that runs up and down the whole edge here, which a lot of the top cases do, but the one thing that makes this different is this little edge here is attached to the tempered glass screen protector, which gives it a much more rigid edge. So it doesn't move when you push on it. No matter how hard you push on it, it's not going to move. And I appreciate that, and I like that. A lot more case companies should figure out how to make this little edge rigid, and it seems like the SUPCASE has figured out how to do that. So this case is really nice. It's going to add some good protection for your phone. Again, we got pretty much 360 degrees with the front protector, the sides, the reinforced edges, and the back. This does seem to be a little bit more bulky and a little bit more heavy than the UB Pro. I would actually prefer the UB Pro over this. I don't care for this kickstand on the side. I would rather have it kind of flush on the back. But again, you are giving up the MagSafe with the UB Pro, and you have that with the UB Grip. But this is a definite, a nice case, and if you want to protect your phone, I would definitely recommend it. Next up, we have the I-BLASON Armorbox case. And let's see how much the case weighs. 80.7 grams. This is another great protective case for the Fold 7, and you'll see a lot of similarities to the SUPCASE case. You can see that it's got a built-in plastic kickstand on the back, kind of like an industrial looking design. We also do have some really nice texturing on the edge of the case as well to help with grip. This also does have a tempered glass screen protector built in, and it's got a spring-loaded hinge protector too. And on the inside of the case, it also does have kind of like a soft felt material, and this case has been military grade drop tested as well. So just like the SUPCASE, we need to make sure that we clean the screen off on our Fold really well. And once you've done that, we'll peel off all the stickers on the inside. This case also does use stickers on the edge and on the top and the bottom of the case to help keep it in place. We'll put this over the top of our phone. kind of clips into place. Press on the bottom and along the edge. And we'll put the rest of this in the other portion of the case. And we can peel off the top protector. And that looks really nice. Feels really good in the hand. The texture really adds to the grip of the case itself. We have a big cutout on the side here for our volume and our power buttons, which are easily pressable. On the top here, we have that same kind of texturing. On the bottom as well. And there's that hinge cover. Again, it is spring loaded, which is always nice. And on the back, we've got the plastic kickstand that kind of just pops out. So you can use your phone in a portrait or a landscape mode as well. You can also use it while the phone is open too. Not so much portrait mode, but you can use it in a more laid down landscape as well. And then once it's done, it just kind of folds right back into the back of the case. We also do have a really nice raised edge to help protect our camera lenses too. And then opening the case is super easy. Just like the SUPCASE, the I-BLASON adds grip to allow you to open up the phone so much easier than when the phone does not have a case on it. Absolutely love that. And even after opening and closing a couple times, you can see that the case is still in place and has not moved. Now, just like the SUPCASE, this will add a little bit of extra bulk to your phone, but you are getting 360-degree protection with the tempered glass, the beefier corners for drop protection, the hinge protection, and we've got protection on the back as well. Now, as far as the tempered glass goes, feels nice and smooth, just like the glass that's on the phone. And as far as fingerprints, it does seem to do a pretty good job at rejecting fingerprints as well. There's only very slight smudges on the screen. And as far as touch, nice and smooth. Seems to be working perfectly fine. And you can see that the screen is nice and clear. This also does cover our camera, so let's kind of wipe that down just a little bit. And then we'll take a look at our camera. And front camera looks pretty good. I don't really see any issues there. And as far as the bottom portion of the screen goes, it seems to be working fine as well. And from the top, no issues there either. Now let's take a look at the screen as if we're looking at it through polarized sunglasses. And you can see that there is a little bit more of a rainbow effect than the SUPCASE had. You can see the purples and yellows and blues. So there is, for some reason, there's more of a rainbow effect on the I-BLASON than there was on the SUPCASE. But if you're looking at it dead on, this is about what you can expect from the rainbow. And as far as the little edge here, if you are pushing on this, it's not going to move at all. For one, there's a sticker that runs all the way up and down the edge here. And two, which I think is the most important thing, is this edge is connected to the tempered glass. So it makes it so much more rigid to where it's not actually going to move, even if you press on it pretty hard. The case itself also is not going to just slide off. It's got those stickers and it's kind of clipped onto your phone pretty well. So as far as the case moving around, I don't think it's going to move around at all, even when you're opening and closing the case. And overall, this is just a very solid looking and feeling case. Again, like I said, you've got 360-degree protection. It's got the built-in tempered glass, the hinge protector, and the nice protector on the back, along with the raised edge for your camera lenses. Definitely another case that I would recommend if you're looking to get the best protection for your phone. And then next up, we have the I-BLASON Cosmo SP case. So this is another really nice, interesting case by I-BLASON. This one is, again, the I-BLASON Cosmo SP. It does have a nice, soft, matte feeling back. It is made of a very solid, hard plastic. It's not going to bend. And it also has MagSafe built in. And it also has a spring-loaded hinge protector with a more compact kickstand, a metal kickstand that kind of pops out from the bottom as well. So that's pretty cool. The top part of the case does have a tempered glass built in, which I absolutely love. But this case does not have any felt, kind of like the Armorbox case does. But it should offer your phone 360-degree protection, and it also feels nice and smooth. So again, before we put our the top part of the case on the phone, you want to make sure you clean it off thoroughly. We'll remove all the stickers from inside the top part of the case. There's stickers on the top, the bottom, and along the side here. Peel this off. And we'll put this over the top of our phone. Clips into place. Just kind of press along the bottom and along the edge here to make sure that sticker stays down. And we can peel off the front sticker and then put this in the back part of the case. So that looks pretty nice. Now this case does not have any grip. It might be on the verge of being slippery. It's got a smooth type of feeling plastic. So you may or may not like that. Again, it's not slippery, but it's got a smooth type of feel. It does feel good in the hand though. It does have a large cutout on the side again for your buttons, which are easily pressable. And if we take a look at it from the top here, you can see that we do have our cutouts for our mic and our speaker on the bottom there. On the side here, we have the spring-loaded hinge, which does have a smooth type of feel to it, along with that metal kickstand on the back here. So it just kind of pops out like that. And then when you open up your phone, you can have your phone stand up in a portrait or a landscape mode as well. And then it just kind of folds right back into place. And on the back, it's got your MagSafe ring along with the soft touch kind of matte clear look. And we also have a pretty good raised edge around our camera lenses as well. Another thing I wanted to look at is the raised edge we get around the front of the phone. It does seem to be pretty good as well. And if we open and close the case, because this case is a little bit more slick than the I-BLASON Armorbox, it is still pretty easy to open, but it is just a little bit more slippery. But I don't think it's a huge issue. You can still very easily open up the phone, and you can see that the case is pretty much flush with the inside screen as well. And even after opening and closing the case a few times, you can see that the case has not moved at all. It's not pushing out. It's just staying in place. Another really nice thing about this case is this edge here. It's very rigid and it does not move at all. No matter how hard you push on it, this edge is not going to move, unlike some of the other cases I've tested. And the reason for that is, one, it uses a sticker, and two, which is the main part, is it's attached to the tempered glass. So this edge right here is super rigid. And I think a lot of people can appreciate that. It doesn't feel cheap. Now, as far as the tempered glass goes, it feels nice and smooth, just like the glass that's on the phone. And as far as fingerprints, it definitely does a pretty good job at keeping down those fingerprints as well. As far as the touch seems to be working fine. You can see the screen is nice and clear. And touch is working. We'll test out the bottom here. That's working fine. No issues there. Bring down the top. Yeah, so you shouldn't have any problems with touch on the screen protector. Now, the other thing I want to test is the camera, because it does cover our camera lens as well. And I think the picture looks pretty good. It's nice and clear, and I don't see any issues. Now, another thing I want to test out is what the screen looks like as if you're looking at it through polarized sunglasses, because sometimes there's a rainbow. And with this particular case, it doesn't seem like there's really any rainbow at all. So if you're going to be looking at this through polarized sunglasses, you're not going to be really seeing any rainbow, and that's fairly rare. So that is definitely another plus. Then let's test out our MagSafe on the back. We've got this MagSafe charger here. Clips onto the back, charges your phone immediately, and as far as the hold, it seems to have a pretty good strong hold on there as well, so you don't have to worry about your phone just kind of falling off the accessory. It's on there pretty good. So definitely another really nice case by I-BLASON. I do like the soft touch back and the fact that it is a matte, so it keeps down those fingerprints. Again, we have a really nice raised edge around our camera lenses. It makes it a lot easier to open up the phone. You've got your hinge protector on the side with the built-in kickstand and the tempered glass screen protector on the top. The only thing I could say about this is, like I mentioned, it's not grippy. It is a little bit more slick than some of the other I-BLASON cases, which you may or may not like. That's the only downside I can see to this case. And as far as the weight of the case goes, 89.9 grams. Next up, we have the PITAKA Ultra Slim case. This is another minimalist Aramid fiber case that does have MagSafe built in. And here is the case. So this is just a simple back cover case. It does not come with a front cover, but it does have MagSafe built in. Again, it's made from 600D Aramid fiber through and through. It's super thin, very lightweight, and it's nice and strong. Keeps down those fingerprints as well as scratches. So that's pretty nice. We also do have a metal ring around our camera lenses as well. We do have one sticker in here along the long edge that you just need to peel off first. But before I do that, let's see what happens if we don't use the sticker and just put this on our phone. So we'll simply clip this into place. It's got a nice strong clip. It's pretty nice. There it is on the phone. So again, you have no protection for the front cover of your phone, but you do have the back cover. I'm not a huge fan of this. Even though the front cover doesn't have a lot to grab onto, I prefer symmetry, and I would rather have a front cover no matter how flimsy it was, just to make it look even. Because when you're opening up the phone, you're going to have this slight bump over the front cover. So if you need to open it up, you're really not going to be able to open it up right on the same area. You're gonna have to move your finger to like the top portion here to kind of try to open it up a little bit easier, but it's still, the phone is still slick, and because it's so thin, it's not super easy to open up. But I think it does look really nice on the phone, feels nice and premium as well, and it keeps the phone super slim. We've got that big cutout here for our volume and power buttons, cutouts on the top. Same thing for the bottom, and on the back it's got that nice Aramid fiber feel. It does have a little bit of a texture to it. Keeps down those fingerprints and smudges, and as far as the edge around our camera lenses, it does seem to come up just ever so slightly around those lenses, and it looks like we do have enough room to put some lens protectors too, so if you want to use that, that'd give you some extra protection for your camera lenses. But this ring here is made of aluminum, which adds to the premium feel of this back piece. Now, as far as it moving, when you're opening and closing your case, it's on there pretty good. It doesn't seem like it's gonna kind of just slide off. Like I'm pushing on it here and it's not moving at all. You can see how it hugs the inside edge of your phone, and it pretty much comes right up to the edge of the inner screen. And for the outer screen, it just fits perfect. So you might not need to use this sticker on the back. I just think it's there for some extra protection, but you can see how nice and flush that is with the phone. And it seems to stay on there pretty good. Now, the one test I want to see is if you're, happen to push on the phone here, would the case pop off without the sticker? And it doesn't seem to. It seems like the case is doing a great job at holding onto the phone even without that sticker. And that's definitely a plus too, because a lot of cases rely on a sticker to stay in place, whereas this one seems to have a pretty good strong clip on the phone. So I personally don't think you have to use that sticker if you don't want to. But the one thing about this case, as premium looking and feeling as it is, I really wish that it came with the front piece as well, just to kind of make the phone look more symmetrical. I just think it kind of looks a little off, kind of like you're holding two phones, one without a case and one with. But what do you guys think? Do you prefer cases that just come with the back cover, or do you like symmetry like me? Let me know in the comments below. It also feels pretty good in the hand. I don't notice any slickness. It does have a slight bit of grip to it because of the Aramid fiber. But all in all, it's not a bad cover. It looks great on the phone. It's going to give your phone some back protection. The only thing is you don't have a front cover. And then as far as the MagSafe goes, clips right onto your phone, charges immediately, and it's got a pretty decent hold on there as well. You don't have to worry about your phone just falling off your MagSafe accessory. It's on there pretty good. So if you do like the minimalist case that just have the back cover here, I could definitely recommend the PITAKA Ultra Slim case. Next up, we have the TORRAS 360 spin case. Now, TORRAS makes some really nice cases, especially for foldable phones, and I get one every year I get a foldable phone. This particular one has a metal kickstand on the back that folds flush into the case, spins 360 degrees, so you can use it in a portrait or a landscape mode, and also acts as your MagSafe ring as well. This is a two-piece design case. It is made of a very hard, rigid plastic, and it's got kind of like a soft silicone type feel to it. We also do have a spring-loaded hinge cover on the side as well, and this doesn't seem to use any stickers whatsoever, so I'm pretty excited to see how well this case works. And in addition to getting the case, you also get two tempered glass screen protectors. So we'll put the front part on the phone first, kind of clips right into place, and then we'll put the back on the phone next. Again, clips right into place. And I think it looks great on the phone. Feels good in the hand. It's not grippy and it's not slippery. It's got kind of like a smooth, rubbery type feel to it. It's got a large cutout on the side for your volume and power button. We have our cutouts on the top, cutouts on the bottom there, and on the back, again, it's got kind of like that smooth silicone type feel. We've got our MagSafe / kickstand on the back, so you can use your phone in a portrait or a landscape mode. You can also rotate this down, so you can kind of angle the phone up more towards you. And when you're opening it up, you can also use it as a kickstand as well in a portrait or a landscape mode, which is really nice. And then it folds back flush right into the case. So you can see there's no bump whatsoever here, which is definitely a plus. We also have a raised edge around our camera lenses, and it does seem to come up slightly more above the lenses, so it gives a little bit more protection there too. And it looks like there's even some room to put some camera lens protectors on there too. If we look at the case from the front, you can see how much of a raised edge we get on the front of the phone, which is another plus. And we have some kind of the serrations on the side to help with grip. And you can see how that hinge just kind of folds back in with that spring, which is nice. And it doesn't add a lot of extra bulk to the phone. I'd probably say now this thickness is about the same size as the Fold 6, which I have right here. And you can see that it's about the same size as the Fold 6 without a case on it. So that is pretty nice. We also do have plenty of room for a front tempered glass screen protector if you want to use that too. And if you have a MagSafe ring or a MagSafe accessory, and clip that onto the back, it'll charge your phone immediately. And it seems to have a pretty good hold on the back of the phone as well, so you don't have to worry about your phone just coming off your MagSafe accessory, which is nice. And then let's open up our phone. Very easy to open. Now, if you do have some grease or something on your hands, you will get these little grease smudges, but for the most part, it will keep the fingerprints down on your phone. So let's try to open it now. Opens up pretty nicely. Fairly easily too. Not a problem there. If we look on the inside, you can see that the case is pretty much flush with the inside of the screen. And the case this whole time doesn't seem to be moving at all. You can see how even it is. And let's test out our edge. You can see that if you push on the edge, it does move slightly, but the hinge cover kind of keeps it in place. So I don't think that's a deal breaker, or at least it's not for me. And as far as the rest of the case sliding off, it's not moving at all. It's on the phone pretty good. So I don't think you're going to have to worry about this case moving. And that's why one of the reasons I like the TORRAS cases, because they don't use any stickers and they don't seem to move without those stickers. So that's definitely a plus as well. So I'm definitely liking this case. I really like the fact that it does have the kickstand, so you can stand up your phone without using a salt shaker or something on your table, especially if you're eating lunch and you want to prop up your phone. And I don't think it adds a lot of extra bulk to the phone either. Makes it really nice and easy to open, and you get a lot of protection there too. I definitely recommend the TORRAS 360 spin case. And as far as trying to push the case off, it does seem to do a pretty good job, again, without those stickers, to not move at all on the phone. Don't seem to be coming off in the middle or the edges. And in case you're wondering, this is what the case looks like with the tempered glass screen protector on there. Wipe that down a little bit. And you can see that there is a pretty big gap on the bottom of the screen. And there's still a gap on the top and just a little bit on the side. So you shouldn't see any bubbles or lifting. There's also a cutout for your camera again. And the only thing is, one thing I noticed with this case as well is the screen protector does not cover the whole phone screen. That gap on the bottom is exposed screen. So that may or may not be a deal breaker for you. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. But for the most part, the screen is protected. And if we take a look at the side, you can see that we still have a really good raised edge, even with the use of the tempered glass. And then here we have the TORRAS Shockproof case. This is a more simplified version of the 360 spin, and it does not have a metal kickstand on the back, but it does have a MagSafe ring built in, and also, in addition to the case, it comes with 2 tempered glass screen protectors. So again, I love the TORRAS cases because they are made of a really good quality. This one is made of a hard plastic on the back, and it's got a hinge cover on the side as well that is just simply held in place with a little piece of plastic. So there's no metal springs to have it spring back. It's just kind of like a rubbery type material. This is also a 2-piece design, and it does not use any stickers again. So let's put this on the front of our phone. Just simply clips into place. Then we'll put this inside the back. And there we go. Looks really nice on the phone, feels good in the hand as well. It doesn't have a grippy feel, but it's not slippery either. It's got kind of like a smooth, rubbery type feel to it. It does have a large cutout on the side for your power and volume buttons. We have our cutouts on the top, cutouts on the bottom, and we've got that hinge cover on the side that just simply springs in place with this kind of like a rubbery type of material. You can very easily access the buttons on the side here. No issues there. On the back, it does have a nice transparent backing that does have a matte, smooth feel to it. We've got our MagSafe ring, and we also have that ring around our camera lenses that does come up a little bit for protection there too. I think that looks really nice, and because it is matte, it does keep down the fingerprints. You might see a little smudge here and there if your fingers are a little oily, but for the most part, it will keep those fingerprints down. We can also see how much of a raised edge we get on the front of the phone without the tempered glass screen protector. And if we try to open up the case, opens up very easily again because there's more to grip onto to actually open up the phone, but it will add a little bit of extra bulk to your phone too, not too much, and we have some extra protection in the corners as well. Now as far as movement goes, again, this one little piece here does kind of move a little bit, but that's the same way on any phone that doesn't use any stickers. And as far as, again, opening and closing the phone, it doesn't seem to move at all. It's also flush with the screen on the inside. And you can open and close this as much as you want. Now, one thing I just noticed when I opened and closed this case, you just saw it, the front part of the case actually slides off of the phone because the little hinge kind of caught the edge and pushed it right off the side. So that's one thing you might have to kind of worry about. Let's open up the case again and see if it'll do it. See, it does slightly push it off on the side here, so because it's not using any stickers, it might just slide off. It seems like the hinge cover is getting a hold of it and kind of pushing it off the phone. So that can be definitely a downside. As you saw, I just did it again. So it is possible for the front protector to slide off the phone. Another thing I'm noticing is that the hinge doesn't kind of totally close here, because it's not really using any springs. It's just using kind of like a rubbery type plastic. So that's a couple things you might run into along with this case. See, it just came off again. So, gosh, I really wanted to like that. It seems like the 360 spin case stays on the phone a lot better than the Shockproof one does. And then if we try to push this off from the bottom, seems to hold on pretty good, not moving, and I'm putting some pretty good pressure as well. In the corners, same thing. On the other side, it's held on really well, and as well as the corners. So all in all, not a bad case, but we are having the issue where the hinge is not totally closing on the phone, and then when we're opening up the case can kind of come off on the bottom here. So those would be deal breakers for me. I don't know if they are for you. Let me know in the comments below. Now let's install our screen protector. So we are going to use the front of the case as our installation guide. Then take your screen protector, making sure that the little camera cutout is going towards the camera on your phone. And this piece is on the underside of the protector. We'll peel that off. We'll put this into place on our phone. Just make sure that it kind of lines up with your camera there. And then you can just kind of let this lay down. And it should start to adhere to your phone. And if there are any bubbles, you can just kind of take your finger and just kind of push those out. It looks like I have to lift up my screen just a little bit to try to get these bubbles out. And you can see how the screen protector fits inside this case. We do have a slight gap on the bottom, along the edges, and on the top of the phone, but we do have the cutout for our camera, so we don't have to worry about the facial recognition or any selfies being interfered with. It does look nice and clear. Touch, nice and smooth, just like the glass on the phone, and it seems to be working just fine. Now, as far as fingerprints, it does pick up some slight smudges, but you should be able to easily just wipe those away. No issues there. And now let's see what the screen looks like as if we're looking at it through polarized sunglasses. And you can see that there's really not much of a rainbow, if at all. So that is definitely a huge plus. Very nice. Now, one thing I did notice about this screen protector is the fact that it doesn't cover the whole screen. You can see the gap on the bottom here where the screen protector doesn't totally come all the way to the edge of the phone screen. So I'm not sure if that's a deal breaker for you. I don't know that it is for me. You're still going to be able to see the screen, but just something I wanted to let you know about, that the screen protector doesn't seem to fit the whole screen or cover the whole screen on the phone. And the edges of the screen protector are also rounded off. Now, if we take a look at the side of the phone, you can see how much of a raised edge we still get, even though we do have a tempered glass screen protector on it. So your phone screen should still be protected even with the screen protector on there. So now that we know what the tempered glass looks like, let's move on to the drop and the scratch test. All right, we're starting our test off at 2 feet. Go. 2 feet. All right, so the TORRAS tempered glass screen protector lasted up until a 2-foot drop, and now let's move on to the scratch test. So we're going to start off our test with the number 5. We'll move on to number 6, and then finally a number 7. So if we take a closer look, you can see there are no scratches at the number 5. There are slight at a number 6 and about the same at a number 7. So scratch resistance for the screen protector is standard for tempered glass. So here is the VRS DESIGN Modern Go 360. This is a wallet case. You can see that it's got the little cover for your cards right here. It also does come with a built-in tempered glass screen protector, which I'm loving more and more on these cases because it keeps every portion of the front part of the case nice and rigid and it doesn't move out like some of the other cases do. Here is the back plate. It is made of all hard plastic. We do have a spring-loaded kind of hinge cover on the side here, and it's got like a soft touch kind of rubbery type feel. So the first thing we need to do before we install the front cover is to totally clean up our screen with the included alcohol wipe. And once your screen is all cleaned off, we can peel off the inside protector of the screen protector. Then just install this on top of your phone. The other thing I really like about this case is it doesn't use any stickers, which is nice. Then we'll put this into the back piece. Everything just kind of pushes into place. And there we go. Feels really nice in the hand. It's not grippy. It's got kind of like a smooth, rubbery type feel to it, but it is not slippery. You can see that it does add a little bit of extra bulk to the phone, especially because we do have the card holder on the back here. We've got a pretty good cutout for our volume and power buttons, which you can easily press. Again, we have that spring-loaded cover for the hinge on the side, which is nice. And on the back here, again, we've got the card holder that I think can hold up to like 2 or 3 cards. Let's see. Now these cards don't have any embossment on them. They're totally flat. So just keep that in mind. If you do use cards with raised lettering, you're going to be able to put less cards in here. So we've got 1 card here, 2 cards, 3 cards, maybe 4? Nope. Okay, so I think you can put like 3 cards in here. Yeah, 3 cards. So 3 flat cards will fit in there nicely. And you can see that it does have a little bit of an extra bump on here. And we'll also see if we can wirelessly charge with the cards inside. We do also have a slight raised edge around our camera lenses for some protection there too. On the top here, we've got our cutouts for the speaker and the mic. On the bottom for our charging port, speaker and mic. And then if we try to open up the phone, it definitely opens up a lot easier versus not having a case on your phone. It's actually got something to kind of grip onto. And also notice that the case does not move at all when opening and closing the phone. You can see that it has not moved one bit from the side, which is definitely a plus. And the case is also flush with the inside of the screen as well. That's what it looks like when it's open. Then if you need to access your cards, just kind of pop this open and you can take out all 3 cards if you need to all at once. Now let's see if we can wirelessly charge through the bottom here. All right, so here we have my wireless charger. Put it on here. So interesting enough, it does seem to wirelessly charge right through all the cards and the case itself. And let's check out the screen protector. You can see that it is a full coverage screen protector. It does cover your camera. Touch seems to be working well, and it is nice and clear. No issues with touch. We'll test out the bottom here. Everything seems to be working well from the top. Slides down without any issues, so you shouldn't have any problems with touch. The screen is also nice and smooth, just like the glass that's on the phone. And then as far as fingerprints goes, it does seem to do a pretty good job at rejecting fingerprints. There's just some minor smudges on the screen, which you can wipe away fairly easily. So that's pretty good. Now let's take a look at the screen as if we were looking at it through polarized sunglasses. And you can see that there's really no rainbow effect, which is definitely great for people who use polarized sunglasses. There might be like a slight blue tinge, but other than that, it looks pretty clear. So definitely a thumbs up for that. And then let's check out our front camera. Front camera looks nice and clear. Don't see any issues there. Now, one thing about the hinge on the side here, even though it is spring loaded, if you push it back all the way, it stays open. Not sure what that's about or why it does that, but it's just something that I wanted to note. But it does spring right back if you push it just a little bit, and you can see how nice and even everything is on the phone. Definitely a nice case. I like the way that it feels, and for the functionality of holding those 3 cards, it allows you to maybe keep your purse or your wallet at home and just carry your phone. And I also love the fact that it covers your phone 360 degrees, so pretty much everything on your phone is protected. And then as far as the case maybe popping off prematurely, you can see that it's on there pretty good. I'm pushing fairly hard and it's not popping off in the center. And it's not coming off on the sides either. Let's test out the other side. Same thing here. And same thing with the edges. And then let's test out the front cover, because a lot of the cases have this little thin plastic piece here that if you push on it, it bends, but this one does not. And the reason for that is because it's attached to the tempered glass screen protector, which is definitely a plus for me. Also, the movement of the case, well, it does seem to slide just a little bit if you put enough pressure on it. But for the most part, it doesn't seem like the case is moving. We do have just a little bit of gap here. You can see that it does slightly move if you push on it hard enough. But in a day-to-day use, I really don't see this case moving that much at all. But again, just something to keep in mind. And then here we have the VRS DESIGN Terra Guard Active in their Freedom Edition. I think this looks really cool in the camo. This case has MagSafe built in, which is nice. And it also does have a tempered glass screen protector built in to the front part of the case, which I love as well. The back plate is made of a hard plastic, and it does have a spring-loaded hinge cover. And there's also a sticker in here that should keep the back part from moving, but in my experience, you don't have to use this back sticker if you don't want to. The case pretty much stays in place. So again, the first thing you want to do is to thoroughly clean off your screen before you put on the front cover and peel off the inner sticker. And we'll put our plate over our phone. Just snaps in place. And we'll put the back cover on our phone. And there we go. Again, feels pretty nice. It doesn't have a grip, but it does have like a smooth rubbery type feel to it. It does have a large cutout on the side for your power and volume buttons. On the top here, we've got all of our cutouts. Same thing on the bottom. Got that hinge cover on the side to protect our hinge. On the back, it's got that really cool camo pattern. Feels really nice too. We also do have the built-in MagSafe, and we have a rubber ring around our camera lenses for some protection there too. It also doesn't add a lot of extra bulk to the phone. I think it looks pretty cool. And as far as opening up, definitely a lot easier to open up your phone with the case on versus the phone not having anything on it. And also, the case does not seem to move even with opening and closing the case a few times, which is definitely good. And let's check out the MagSafe. Got our Qi 2 MagSafe charger here. Charges your phone immediately. And as far as the hold, it's got an okay hold on the back of the case. It's not the strongest I felt, but I think it's adequate to hold the phone on your charger. Don't swing it around too much because it might come off, but it definitely does seem to do the job. And then if we take a look at the inside again, you can see that the case is pretty flush with the inside of the screen, in case you're wondering. I do really like this case. It looks really cool. I do like the soft touch feel as well. And then if you're wondering about the case coming off, kind of push in the middle here, you can see the case is not coming off. On the sides, on the corner here, if you put significant amount of force, it will pop off, but in day-to-day use, it should not come off. On the other side, it seems to be on there pretty good. In the middle, it's on there nice and tight. And then as far as the front cover moving, again, you don't have to worry about this little plastic piece moving around because it's attached to our screen. And let's see if the front cover moves at all if you push on it. And the front cover will slide off if you put enough force into it. You can see right there. But it's on there pretty good. I think if you use this on a day-to-day basis, it's not going to slide off. But if you're trying to push the screen off, it will move just like that. But I think if you're using it on a regular day-to-day basis, you know, just opening and closing your case, you saw that the front cover is not going to just move from the front of the phone. It's just something I wanted to note. And as far as the screen goes, again, it's nice and smooth. You can see that it is nice and clear. It also works really well with touch. No issues there. And as far as fingerprints goes, it does pick up some fingerprints you can see on the screen, but then you can easily just wipe those away. And as far as the front camera goes, front camera looks nice and clear. Don't see any issues there. And then for using your screen with polarized sunglasses, you can see that there really is not a rainbow effect on the screen other than a slight, like a blue tinge. But I think this is my favorite color case so far. And then here is the same case in a navy blue. I think this looks pretty cool. It's got that nice kind of metallic sheen to it. But I definitely think I like the camo Freedom Edition a lot better. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Next up, we have the Terra Guard Modern Halo 360 by VRS Design. This also does seem to have a tempered glass screen protector built into the top portion of the case, which is a really good design because it helps keep this piece right here very rigid. On the inside here, it is just like a hard plastic. We also do have a fairly large sticker on the side here. It does have a spring-loaded hinge cover, which does seem to kind of stay open if you fold it back hard enough. Not sure why, but we'll find out in just a minute. And it also does have MagSafe built in. So the first thing you're going to want to do before you put this on your phone is to clean off your phone screen with the alcohol wipe. It does come with one because we don't want any grease or anything stuck underneath the screen when we install the screen protector. Then you can take your front case, peel off the sticker on the inside, and then place this over the top of your phone. Clips into place. Then we'll take our phone and put this in the bottom portion after we take off this one sticker here. Actually, you might not even need this sticker. It should just stay in there pretty good. So I'm not going to take off the sticker first. If it fits in there really well without the use of the sticker, I'm not going to take it off. And you probably won't even need it. So there it is on the phone. It feels pretty good in the hand. It feels very plasticky. It doesn't have a lot of grip on the spine here. There is a little bit of a grip on the other edge because there is some rubber. We also do have a large cutout on the side here for our volume and power buttons, which are still easily pressable. On the top here, we've got our cutouts. You can also see that it does add a little bit of extra bulk to your phone. Not much extra protection in the corners though. We have our cutouts on the bottom. You can also see we do still have a raised edge on the front of the phone. There is our hinge cover, which again can kind of fold open and stay that way. And on the back again, we've got a MagSafe sticker that you just want to remove because the MagSafe ring is underneath here. And we do have a rubber edge around our camera lenses for protection there too. It does seem like it comes up a little bit over the lenses, not a lot, but it should offer some pretty nice protection. Now, as far as opening the phone, much easier to open the phone now with this case on it versus just the phone in general because it does have that nice rubber edge. So that is a plus as well. And you can see that the case is also staying in place. It's not moving at all. You can see in the edges here, it's nice and flush with the phone. And like I mentioned before, you shouldn't really need that sticker on the inside because it's held in place really good on the phone. So that does look pretty nice. And let me open this up again. You can see the hinge cover right there. And if you push it back totally, it kind of folds open. Not sure why it wouldn't just kind of spring back, but it seems like when you open and close the phone, it does go back to where it's supposed to be. So that's definitely a plus. Now let's test out our MagSafe. MagSafe charges your phone immediately, and it seems to have a pretty good strong hold on here as well. So you shouldn't have to worry about the phone just kind of falling off your MagSafe accessory. Seems to be on there pretty good. Now, this case does not have a kickstand, which I kind of miss. I like the fact that some of the kickstands are included. But let's take a look at the front screen here. It does seem like it does pick up some slight smudges on the screen, but not too bad. And as far as them wiping away, it seems to wipe away pretty easily. And as far as the smoothness, it feels just like the glass that's on the phone. Touch seems to work fine. And the screen is nice and clear as well. This is also a full coverage screen protector, so it does cover your camera. So let's test that out. Camera looks perfectly fine. Don't see any issues there. And as far as the buttons on the bottom seem to work fine as well. And then taking your phone's menu from the top seems to work without issues as well. Now let's take a look at what the screen looks like as if you're looking at it through polarized sunglasses. And it doesn't look like there's any rainbow effect at all. So that is definitely a huge plus, at least for me, because I usually wear polarized sunglasses and I hate to see the rainbow on my phone screen. And just like some of the other cases, this edge on the side here does not move when you press on it. And that's because this little edge has a sticker and because it's attached to the tempered glass. So like a lot of the other cases that just have kind of like a flimsy front piece, this edge does not move at all, which is definitely a plus. At least it is for me, and it adds to the quality of the case itself. So definitely not a bad case. I would like to see a little bit more of a grippiness, maybe a rubber coated hinge cover versus just a hard plastic, because it would add to the grip of the case, but you still do get the grip on the side. It's got MagSafe built in, and it's going to protect your phone 360 degrees. And then let's see how much the case weighs. 77.3 grams. And the next case we have is made by AICASE. This is a clear MagSafe case. So this case is just a very simple clear plastic case. The back cover here is made of a kind of like a thick plastic. It does bend a little bit, and on the edges it kind of feels like it's like a little bit more rubbery. We also do have a front cover as well, which is just a simple hard plastic. There is no rubbery type feel. So we just clip this right onto the top of our case, push it in place like that, and then there is also a sticker on the back of this case as well, which you can remove. I don't need to remove it because you can see right through the case, so I'm just gonna clip it right into place as well. And there it is on the phone. So the phone does have a good feel in the hand. It's nice and grippy because of that back plate. We do have a cutout for our power button, but not the volume buttons. They're actual buttons on the side, which are, they're okay. They're not the best feeling when you press on them, but the power button is fine because it's a nice cutout, and then the volume button just kind of, I don't know, it feels like all one button, like you're not really even pressing separated buttons. We do have some reinforcements in the corners, and as far as the edge here, you can see how kind of flimsy that is there. On the top, we do have our cutouts for the speaker and the mic. You can see that it does add a little bit of extra bulk to the phone. We have the same thing on the bottom here. No hinge protection. And on the back, we do have our MagSafe ring along with a pretty beefy raised edge around our camera lenses. So there's some pretty good protection there, which is a plus. Let's test out our MagSafe. Clips onto, not really. That is some of the weakest, like it almost doesn't even hold the phone. you really, I mean, I can't even say this is usable. Like you barely shake it and the phone falls off. So that is definitely not good. I can't even recommend this case because of that. But I'll show you the rest of the case. It does make it a lot easier to open and close the phone. because of the grip, and it makes the edge of the phone a little bit thicker. And you can see that even without stickers, it does seem to stay in place even when you're opening and closing the phone. So that's a plus. So this is just a very simple clear plastic case, but I can't even recommend it because the MagSafe ring is so weak. I haven't tested another case that had such a weak magnetic hold on the back of the case. Why even bother putting it there if it's going to be so bad? So I definitely would not recommend this case, and I would just stay away from it altogether because there are much better cases that you can get that have a much better MagSafe hold on the back. And as far as the phone coming off on the bottom here, it seems like the back portion, the bigger part of the case, you could just press on it just a very little bit and it kind of comes off, but the front portion seems to have a better hold on the phone. The edges you can push off the back on the main portion, but not on the front cover. And on the other side, it's about the same thing. You can easily push off the bottom corner here, but not on the top cover, probably because it's more of a harder plastic and the back cover is more of kind of like a rubbery type plastic material. And let's see how much the case weighs. 34.4 grams. The next case we have is made by HIOOLOON, and this has a MagSafe ring in the back. It's also clear, and it looks like it's got a kickstand on the back as well. And here is the case. So you can see it is nice and clear. The one thing I do like about this case is that they use these little plastic hinges on the top and the bottom to attach the back plate to the front cover, and that definitely helps keep the front cover of the case in place when you're opening and closing the phone. You can see we do have a metal kickstand on the back. That is not super thick, but it is metal and it seems to stay in place. And we do also have a MagSafe ring as well. So first we'll just kind of press the phone into the back portion. And then we'll fold over and put the top on as well. So it does seem like the back cover is made of a hard plastic, and it also does have a rubbery edge. Kind of an interesting design there. I'll show you that in just a second. But it does feel pretty good in the hand. There's no hinge protection. It does have a good rubbery grip to it. We do have a cutout for the power button, and there's actual volume buttons on the side, which are clicky, and they're okay as far as pressing. The power button is easily pressable as well. We do have some what looks to be reinforcements in the corners for some extra drop protection. You can see that it does add a little bit of extra bulk to your phone. We do have a pretty good raised edge around the front of the phone as well. You can see our cutouts on the top and on the bottom and on the back. It's got a nice clear backing with the MagSafe ring and that metal kickstand, so you can use your phone in a portrait or a landscape mode, and you should even be able to use the phone while it's open as well. And kind of stand it up, maybe. Let's see. Yeah. So you can stand it up like that, or not necessarily lay it down, but you can kind of lay it down like that. Yeah, it just seems like you can stand it upright and not lay it down because it just falls back to the portrait mode. So it does seem to stay in place. Again, it is made of all metal, and the MagSafe ring, which we will test out in just a minute. We also do have a pretty good raised edge around our camera lenses as well. And this is the first case that I've seen that has a cutout around the bottom lens. It's pretty interesting. So now let's test out the strength of the MagSafe. Does seem to have a pretty good hold on the back. Charges your phone immediately. And again, it's got a pretty good hold on the back of the phone, so you shouldn't have to worry about it just kind of falling off. So let's try to open up the phone a couple more times and see if the case actually moves around. The case does also make it much easier to open and close the phone as well. And it doesn't look like the case has moved at all. And that's definitely a plus. Now, as far as the little side piece goes, Just like most of the other cases, this is very flimsy and it flexes very easily when you press on it. So you may or may not care about that. The majority of the cases that are like this do have a piece that moves. But I mean, some cases do have a sticker. This particular one just does not. Now, as far as the case coming off the phone easily, on the bottom here, it does kind of move if you put an okay amount of force on it. It clips right into place. So I don't think you should have to worry about the case just falling off the phone. The edges are also on there pretty good as well. Same thing with the bottom, kind of clips in place. And with the edges, same thing. So not a horrible case, it's just very simple. You have a very simple kickstand with a MagSafe ring that actually has a fairly strong hold, and it seems to charge your phone perfectly fine. And we'll see how much the case weighs. 49.8 grams. Next up, we have a case by ONEAGLE, and here is the case. It does seem to come with a tempered glass screen protector built into the front of the phone, which is nice. Now, this has a hinge protector that is spring loaded, but it seems to have a slot for an S Pen, which I don't understand because the Samsung S Pens don't work with the Fold 7, so you would have to get some sort of an S Pen that would fit in here, first of all, and then two, would just kind of mimic your finger touch, not like the Samsung one. So they don't even include an S Pen for this, so I'm not sure why that's even there. But the back does have MagSafe, and it's got a nice soft touch clear backing that does keep down fingerprints. So the first thing we need to do is to thoroughly clean off our screen with some sort of an alcohol wipe to get rid of any fingerprints and smudges that are on our screen. Then you can peel off the inside protector along with some of the stickers on the edge here. And just place this over the top of your phone. Clips into place. Kind of run your finger along the edge because that's where the sticker is. And then we'll place this whole thing in the back of part of our phone. And then remove the front sticker, which is not wanting to take off the front protector. All right, so it feels pretty good in the hand. The little recession in here for the S Pen feels kind of weird when you're gripping the phone because there's nothing in there. It does have kind of like a smooth, rubbery type feel. There is a slight bit of grip on the edge here. We do have a large cutout for the volume and power buttons. We have our cutouts on the top. You can also see that it adds a little bit of extra bulk to your phone. Cutouts on the bottom. We also do have a pretty good raised edge around the front of the phone. And we've got the transparent backing that does have a matte finish. So it feels nice and smooth and keeps down those fingerprints. And we have a slight raised edge around our camera lenses. Could be a little bit higher, but it is what it is. So let's test out the MagSafe first. Put on our, geez, clips right on there. Charges your phone immediately. This has the strongest hold of any case that I've tested so far. It is on there. I mean, you heard how hard it clips right onto the back. This is the strongest holding MagSafe case that I have tested so far. I mean, it is really on there. So I guess that's a good thing, definitely. Unless you have something that is not held in place very well, like something on your nightstand, it might be a little bit harder to pull this off that without physically taking apart with two hands. That's really the only downside I can see to such a strong held MagSafe ring. As far as opening and closing your phone, definitely a lot easier to do with the case on there versus just the phone itself. And even after opening it and closing it a couple times, you can see that the case is not moving at all. So that's definitely a plus. It's nice and flush with the inner portion of the screen. And you can see that it's pretty much flush with the phone as well. And as far as our front screen here, it does seem to pick up some smudges from fingerprints. And the front part of the case, or the screen, is not smooth. It's kind of like grippy, which I don't care for. So it might actually just be plastic instead of glass. So looking at the Amazon listing, it doesn't say that it's glass. So I'm assuming that it's actually plastic, and I'm gonna test it out in just a second. But you can see that it is nice and clear. As far as the touch, seems to be working just fine. I don't really like the fact that it's not nice and smooth like the glass on the phone. But again, touch seems to be working fine. The bottom buttons working well. Top working fine. Let's test out our front camera here. See if there's any issues with using that. And that looks pretty clean. Don't see any issues with using the front camera. Let's take a look as if we were looking at it through polarized sunglasses to see if there's any rainbow effect. And you can see that there is a slight rainbow depending on how you look at the angle you look at on the phone. It could be worse, could be a little better. Not the worst that I've seen, but there is a slight bit of rainbow effect. And then the hinge cover, again, it's nice and springy. Springs right back to the phone. But again, like I mentioned, I'm not sure why this S Pen is here because the S Pen doesn't work with the Fold 7. So it's just kind of a cutout for nothing. So now I want to see if this screen protector is actually glass or if it's plastic. So I'm going to start off the test with a simple plastic pick here, which is just the number 2. So it doesn't seem to be scratching. And then we'll move on to a number 3, which is actually copper. So I'm guessing it's going to scratch. It feels like plastic. It doesn't feel like glass, but it's not scratching at the number 3, which is quite interesting. Yeah, you can see there's no scratches. So let's move it on to a number 4 here. And it's not scratching again. Okay, so we'll move on to a number 5. If it doesn't scratch it at number 5, then we know it is glass in fact. Okay, so I'm impressed. I don't know why this has such a grippy type feel if it is in fact glass. But you saw that it's not scratching even up to a number 5. I'm sure it's going to start scratching at a number 6, but it does not seem to be scratching so far. So it does seem to be glass. It's just not smooth like the glass that's on the phone. So as far as I can tell, this case only has 2 downsides. One is the screen protector is not smooth like the glass on the phone. It does have a little bit of resistance to it, which I personally do not like. That would be a deal breaker for me. And 2, again, I'm not sure why there's an S Pen holder. It says it fits these, it's for the Samsung Fold 6 S Pen, which doesn't work on the Fold 7, so I'm not sure why that's there. But the positives about this case is you're covered 360 degrees. It does have a tempered glass screen protector, a really nice hinge protector, and we have a nice matte back that keeps down the fingerprints with a super strong MagSafe hold. So if you're looking for a case that has a nice strong MagSafe hold and it covers your phone 360 degrees minus the 2 downsides I saw, this case is not a bad option. And as far as pushing on the case on the bottom, it does seem to be held in place pretty well, even on the edges, in the middle here, and on the sides. And let's test out the side piece here. It seems to be held in place really good as well because, again, it is attached to the tempered glass, so it's not bending and flexing like some of the other cases do. And we'll see how much this case weighs. 80.2 grams. And the next case we have up here is made by HENSINPLE. And here is the case. It does have a nice soft touch backing that is transparent to show off the color of your phone. We've got MagSafe built in, and the front and back cases are attached with this little piece of plastic on the top and the bottom, and that's going to keep the front part of the case from moving all around. So we'll put our phone inside of the case here, just kind of press it into place. It does have like a rubbery type feel to it on these sides here. So there it is on the phone. Feels pretty nice in the hand. Again, it does have kind of like a smooth, soft touch feel to the rubber. We have a cutout for our power button and actual volume buttons on the side, which are pretty easy to press, nice and clicky. Power button working perfectly fine. If we take a look at it from the top, we've got our cutouts for the mic and the speaker. On the bottom, the same thing, no hinge protection. And on the other side, again, we've got the cutout for the power button and our volume buttons. On the back, there's the translucent back that does have a nice soft matte touch, keeps down fingerprints, and we do have a pretty good raised edge around our camera lenses with a interesting little cutout on the bottom camera lens as well. So let's put our MagSafe ring on the back here, clips into place, charges your phone immediately, and as far as the hold, it does have a pretty good hold on the phone, so you don't have to worry about the phone just kind of falling off the MagSafe accessory. And if we take a look at the front, you can see that it does have a pretty good raised edge around the front of the phone. And as far as trying to open up the phone itself, it does seem to be easier opening up the phone with the case versus not having one on there. And it does seem like the case is staying in place. It has not moved around the edge here, and it's flush with the inside screen as well. Now, as far as this little edge here, it is it's flimsy because it's such a thin piece of plastic, and there's nothing to keep it from moving all around. So that's one potential downside for this case. But let's see what happens when we try to take it off our phone. It doesn't take a lot of force to move the top portion of the case, but it's not coming off because we do have that little connector in the middle. And the same thing for the bottom. It's actually a little worse on the bottom. And as far as the corners are in place pretty good. And the same thing for the top. So I don't think the case is just going to come off, but it doesn't take a lot of force to kind of start to push it off. And there, as you can see when it's open, how much the edge here kind of moves. So this is just a very simple case, nothing super special about it. This little piece here might bother you. I don't really know that it does me, but there are better cases out there that I think would protect your phone a little bit better than this one. So I personally would not recommend this case. And let's see how much the case weighs. 44.5 grams, 44.6.
If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for all your support, and do me a favor and leave me the comment RIP screen to let me know that you're a rock star and that you made it this far. So now that I've had a chance to test out all those cases, I'm gonna let you know which cases were my personal favorites and which ones I would recommend most. But before I do that, I'm gonna let you know which case was the absolute worst and that you really need to stay away from. And that award goes to AICASE's Clear MagSafe case. Now, I didn't just give this case the worst case award because it's just a very simple case with MagSafe, but because when I connected my MagSafe charger to the back of the case, I just simply moved it a little bit and the case pretty much fell off. This case has to have some of the worst MagSafe strength that I've ever tested of any case I have ever tested on my channel, and that's why it gets this award. Now, if you're looking for the best minimalist Aramid fiber case, I would definitely recommend the THINBORNE or the PITAKA Ultra Slim case. I personally would choose the THINBORNE first, and the reason being is because it not only comes with the back cover, but it also comes with the front cover as well, giving your phone a more symmetrical look. And it also comes with a tempered glass screen protector so you can protect your screen along with the minimalist case. This also does have MagSafe built in. And if you don't care about symmetry and you just want to have the back cover, then I would choose the PITAKA Ultra Slim case. This case looks and feels premium. It also does have MagSafe built in, but again, you don't have any front cover, so the phone to me kind of looks a little off, but the case itself is definitely very solid. And it also has MagSafe built in. Now, if you're looking for a case that offers some more protection than the minimalist cases, I would definitely recommend checking out the TORRAS 360 spin case or the SPIGEN Slim Armor Pro. The TORRAS 360 spin case looks and feels great on your phone. It's a very solid case, not flimsy at all. It also does have a hinge protector, and it's got a metal kickstand ring on the back that acts as a 360 spin kickstand, or you can also put your fingers through it to give you a better hold on your phone. And another really solid choice is the SPIGEN Slim Armor Pro case. This case also feels and looks great on the phone and in the hand. It also does have a hinge protector, and it has a little connector that connects both the front and back parts of the case, so it's less likely to slide off your phone. And the only reason I would choose the SPIGEN Slim Armor Pro second to the TORRAS 360 spin is because it doesn't have a kickstand. But both of these cases are really great options. And last but not least, if you're looking for the case that's going to give you the best drop protection possible, I would recommend these three cases. Now my first choice is going to be the I-BLASON Armorbox case, and the reason why it's the first is because the I-BLASON has texturing all the way around its case, and the SUPCASE just has some carbon fiber kind of smooth looking part to it. So the Armorbox is going to give you a little bit better grip than the SUPCASE is, but for the most part these two cases are pretty much the same. The I-BLASON also has a hinge protector, a built-in kickstand, and it also comes with a tempered glass screen protector. My second choice is going to be the SUPCASE UB Pro case. This case is almost like the Armorbox, but it has a little bit less grip because instead of it having texture on the top and some of the sides, it just has a carbon fiber look to it, which is a little bit smoother. This case also does have a built-in kickstand, a hinge protector, and it also comes with a tempered glass screen protector as well. And lastly, we've got the SUPCASE UB Grip case. And the reason why I chose this case last is, for one, it's a little bit heavier and bulkier than the first two cases, and I really don't like the placement of the kickstand on the hinge cover on the side of the case. It just doesn't seem to work as well as the kickstands on the backs of the other cases. But it does have MagSafe built in along with that kickstand, and it also has a tempered glass screen protector on the front of your phone. All three of these cases are great options for drop protection, but again, my personal favorite is the I-BLASON Armorbox. And if there was a case that you didn't see in this video that you'd like to recommend for future videos, let me know in the comments below. And if you guys liked the video and found it at all useful, let me know by hitting the like button and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. I'd also recommend checking out my best and worst bands video that I did for the Galaxy Watch Ultra, and you can check that out by clicking on the video you see on your screen right now. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.